Hi everyone, it's Kino here. Thanks so much for tuning in to this Ashtanga Yoga Challenge. I can hardly believe we're at day 22. It feels like just yesterday we were at day 1, and I'm really so grateful to everyone who's jumping into this challenge and joining the journey. If you've been with me since day 1 or you're just joining now, I really just want to welcome everyone to the Ashtanga Yoga method. And as we dive into the practice, the philosophy, the theory, and applying all of that into understanding what it means to cultivate a daily disciplined practice, I want to introduce everyone today to the idea of what is sadhana, or spiritual practice. And the Ashtanga Yoga practice is presented as a sadhana, which means that it is not just exercise, and it's not just stretching, and it's not just strengthening or twisting and bending and making shapes with the body. Sadhana is the idea of a daily discipline, something that you do every day in service of some sort of spiritual awakening. You could even say in service of the divine, or if you don't have a relationship with God or a personal connection with God, you could say in service of the intelligence or the love of the universe. So when we have a daily sadhana, this is something that has equal parts discipline. The idea is that in sadhana, there should be some elements of sacrifice, some element of giving to a power or a force that's bigger and grander than you are. That element of sacrifice is not only the element of struggle, but also includes the element of surrender. And the element of surrender means that instead of quitting on things, you can turn them over and release a need to control, and release a need to understand, and release a need to have a particular outcome in a particular time frame. And this is important to understand because we are taught in many parts of the world, and especially in the United States, which is where I'm from, that if you work really hard, that's a good thing. You work really hard, and you work hard. And then sadhana includes the element of hard work and sacrifice, but it also includes the element of surrender and trust and a power that's bigger and grander than you are. And it's this idea of balance between understanding you have a right to put in the work, and that is what is demanded of you, and there's a bigger picture that's controlled by a power that's bigger than the small I or the ego. And that's extremely important to understand when we take a look at some of the more challenging asanas in the Ashtanga Yoga method, particularly when you go into the journey of opening the hips. There is no absolute 5 steps and your hips are going to open. I know it's really popular to say, do this, and this, and then there you go, boom, the hips are open. If that was so easy, everybody would be walking around the world with open hips. Some people, one student will do those 5 steps and their hips will open. Another student will do those same 5 steps and their hips won't open. So it's not as easy as creating a cookie cutter approach so that every person can get the same physical results. Sadhana is something different. Rather than promising physical results in any particular time frame, sadhana says, as much effort as you give to the spiritual practice, that effort will shine through you into your life as moments of peace and tranquility and happiness. So remember that. When we look at the journey of opening the hips, today we'll look at Baddha Konasana. This bound angle posture is something that troubles many students because it really puts you directly into confrontation with how tight the hips might be. And this involves whole groups of muscles which are very tight. It's always not just the hips as well. You move into Baddha Konasana, we're working with the inner thighs, you're working with external hip rotation, and you're also working with elongating the back muscles. And this combination is, it's pretty challenging. So today I want to guide you through kind of another softer side of the Ashtanga Yoga practice to help you kind of feel, relax, and open the hips in a way that will lead you one day into Baddha Konasana. So as you can see, I'm sitting on a blanket today, and I have 2 yoga blocks and a bolster. And so this is going to make the whole experience just so much, so free and agreeable as we move into this sort of journey of Baddha Konasana. All right. So we'll end with the traditional Baddha Konasana, but just to show you where I'm going, sometimes this is referred to as the cobbler's pose as well, and sometimes it's referred to like a butterfly. So whichever version of Baddha Konasana you do, this is essentially what the asana is, where the soles of the feet point open, the thumbs rest on the mound of the big toe, and then exhale, you fold forward, bringing your chest down towards the ground, leading with the chest. This is Baddha Konasana A. Baddha Konasana B, you rotate the tailbone under, tuck your tailbone, aim the top of the head towards the toes. Baddha Konasana C, you come up with a nice straight spine, lift the center of the chest, and try to let your spine be in as neutral position as possible. This is Baddha Konasana A, B, and C. And I'll review that with you and go through the technique, but first let's just go into a nice little relaxation. All right, so I want you to come over onto your knees. Open the knees a little bit, and you can either grab a yoga block, or if you have a bolster, then you're going to grab that bolster and just glide it between your thighs. And now I want you to exhale and then just fold down. So this should be pretty comfy, all right? So I want you to take about 5 breaths here, maybe even 10, all right? So see if you can let your back muscles relax. And we're working with a little bit of a nice hip flexion. We're going to stay, again, I said, for about between 5 and 10 breaths. It just depends on how deeply you're breathing. So let your nervous system just kind of relax a little bit. You could even close the eyes as we explore that softer side. Feel your breath, feel your body. Easy does it. Good. While you're here, you might want to check in with what your concept of sadhana is. You know, some people have the idea that only really, really effortful practice is sadhana. But the softer side of sadhana is, as well, a disciplined approach to how to calm and concentrate the mind. Just a few more breaths and see if you can feel your nervous system down-regulating. As your nervous system down-regulates and moves away from too much nervousness or too much thinking, then this also helps the body relax as well. You know, mind and body are part of one fluid whole, not separate entities. You know, so as we work one area, then the other area responds in kind. And as you feel yourself just kind of softening down, it might be very pleasurable to be here for a few moments. How about one more breath, and give me a long deep breath in and a long deep breath out. That's good. Now let's turn forward, and I want you to open your knees a little bit. Right? When you open the knees, you might find yourself pushing the bolster a little forward, and you could point your feet, and the knees are going to come off. And so now we have this kind of almost like a frog split, but I want you to do this to prepare for Baddha Konasana. So when you open the knees a little wider, then you might come up onto the elbows, or you might want to lie down as well. But really see if you can keep your toes pointed towards each other, and just try not to open the knees too much. And we'll hold this for another few breaths. If it's more comfortable for you to rest your head down, then please rest the head down. And we'll stay another 5 or 10 breaths. Try to keep it as nice and easy as possible. So by working the kind of soft space of the posture, then you're able to just help the nervous system kind of feel happy and free. So see if you can tune into that happy sense of freedom, where all is well. With each breath, just relax a little bit more. And again, find out if it's better on your elbows or if it's better just lying completely forward, okay? And this is helping to release the inner thighs and help prevent too much rounding of your back when we're in Baddha Konasana. And you could even think about this as a supine version of Baddha Konasana, like lying face down. Mostly when we think about Supta Baddha Konasana, we think about lying backwards. And we'll do that in just a moment. And notice if you're hiking your butt up a little bit. So I just noticed that I'm hiking my butt up a little bit. So I want to drop the butt. And you'll notice that when you hike the butt, it's a very small little rotation of the pelvis that's going to accentuate the back bend. So see if you can drop the pelvis a little. Good. All right, when I do that, I really find out that the reason I was hiking my butt a little bit is because when I drop the pelvis, that's when I feel the inner thigh stretching. So we're looking for that inner thigh stretch. Let's have about 3 more breaths here, so you could close the eyes and just concentrate on the breath. Let's do 2 more breaths. One more breath. Very good. All right, let's wiggle on out. So I want you to bring your chest forward, just extend the legs back. And then come on up into kind of an easy version of upward facing where your butt muscles are soft. Hold it there for a moment and have a long, deep breath in. And then walk the hands a little more back, come up on the knees, walk the knees in. Let's move the bolster over to the side for a moment. And I want you to walk all the way in. Cross your feet underneath you, and then come on down to constructive rest pose. So now rest your sacrum on the ground, and we'll just kind of try to hang out here for a moment. Okay, so now if that posture was very difficult for you, you may really need the blocks for the next movement that we're going to do. So let's get those blocks handy and get them in place. I'm going to put them on either sides of the pelvis, pointing down like that, and slide them down. Time to change the bolster position as well, so I'm going to slide that up. Now we're going to do the posture called Baddha Konasana. So position the blocks so that when you open, the knees are going to be supported. All right. Then press up onto your elbows and come on up. Let's slide that bolster in place so it lines up right around the edges of the lower back, and then just allow your back to rest up on the bolster. All right, make sure you can still hear me. All right. Now, bring the knees up onto the blocks, and then just feel yourself completely supported. Wherever your hands want to rest, you can let the hands rest anywhere that's comfortable for you, all right? And then sometimes I like the hands on the rib cage, sometimes I like the hands down here. Let's go for the rib cage today. All right, and just really try to down-regulate the nervous system. Almost as though this is like a little moment to really just soften and relax. Notice if there's any points of tightness and see if you can let those release. Maybe your palms want to rest open and out to the side. And try to get that feeling of being totally supported. Of course, if you don't need the blocks underneath your knees and you don't want to use the bolster, you're always welcome to just do this totally lying flat on the ground. But perhaps that might be a little too intense for the body, so close your eyes and we'll stay here for, again, between 5 and 10 breaths. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Again, easy does it. No fight, no force. Feel the breath moving in, traveling the length of the spine. Feel the breath moving out, traveling the length of the spine. Very good. Breath moving in. Tap into the energy of the inner body. Tap into the energy of the posture. The mind, very quiet, very calm. And that deep, harmonious breath really helps your nervous system move into a space of surrender, move into a space of calm and release. Ooh, if you find yourself yawning, just let that happen. A nice deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Let it feel so good. So once you accept kind of where you are, that you hardly want to come out of the posture. And we'll stay for just a few more breaths. So really just kind of soak up the good energy here. Let your body release, the body relax and restore. A few more deep breaths. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Let your whole body just unravel, where all the tightness just melts away. Two more breaths. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Softly open the eyes, change your hands, and draw the knees up in. Then let's roll the spine all the way up. Move your bolster on over to the side. Then let's come on forward and fold up your blanket. Place your hips on the blanket, and then let's turn a little over. All right, now I'm going to go directly into Baddha Konasana. So sitting on the blanket may help you rotate a little bit in. I'm going to change those back over there. So when you think about rotating the pelvis, if the hips have a very hard time changing position, then you might want to sit on a blanket like I'm showing you now. Similarly, if the knees are very elevated, you might want to put the knees under the blocks. And so this is our first variation of Baddha Konasana. So let's hold this for 5 breaths. And so Baddha Konasana C, known as the last Baddha Konasana traditionally, is a place for many students to start off, especially if you're using the hips to elevate. Take your pelvis and rotate it a little bit forward and back. So you want to do that anterior tilt of the pelvis. So the pubic bone drops down and the iliac crests are going to come forward. Not too much, so the sitting bones stay on the ground. And we'll just hold this for a couple breaths. So from here, you can test out to see, can you remove the blocks and do the knees kind of get comfortable on the ground? If they do, great. Now, I want you to test out as well the forward fold. So let's just do this once completely with the blocks. The forward fold. Draw the navel in, and then again, lead with the pubic bone and the iliac crests and just guide those both down. Now you can change your hands and take the hands forward. So you're using the hands now to support the back to make sure that you're not bending forward in this position, but really try to lead with your chest and hold this for a couple breaths. You can explore how much forward you can go down. Really explore. Otherwise, maybe you just want to remain up. That works as well. And let's just stay for a couple breaths. 2, 3. Check in with how your hips feel. Check in with how your body feels. 4. Almost there. 5. Let's come on up. Now, the traditional Baddha Konasana B, you're going to rotate the tailbone under, round the back and draw the belly in. And then exhale, you're going to aim the top of the head down to the feet. All right, so it's top of the head down to the feet. All right, really try to get that top of the head down to the feet. You can notice that your feet are very stuck together, and this is why we hold onto the feet and help them open. But it's not only the hands, you want to do that with the feet as well. So the feet can open by themselves, and then round the back. Let me stay for a couple breaths. Nice and easy. Let's go for like 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And then inhale, come on up. Straighten out the spine. Good. Okay, let's try without the blocks on the blanket and draw the knees in. Move those over. Now we're just going to take it nice and easy. So just kind of slide off there. Very good. Move the blanket on over to the side. And now, same posture, now without any assistance. See how it goes. All right. First, prepare, lifting the spine up and forward. Then, you're going to keep the spine as close to being a sort of unit as possible, which means that you're not going to bend the spine. You want to keep the torso connected and pivot at the axis of the hip joints. Press the heels into each other and let the feet open by themselves. So see how the feet are opening by themselves? I'm pressing the heels into each other, and I'm using the hands to more keep the feet close to the pubic bone than to open the feet. So the feet want to do their own opening, okay? Then draw the navel in, strong bandhas, and then exhale, pivot forward, and draw the elbows back, pivot forward. Your sitting bones can come off the ground if the rotation really happens. So just keep pivoting, elbows back, keep pivoting, elbows back. You could do head down from here if you can't go any further, but I really want you to explore. Keep pivoting, keep pivoting, keep pivoting, and then maybe eventually you could think about your chin moving towards the ground. And it's okay that the sitting bones are off the ground. And let's just hold that for a couple breaths. 2, 3, 4, almost there. 5. Inhale, come up. Baddha Konasana B, rotate the tailbone under. And then exhale, you're going to aim your forehead down to the toes. And again, the feet are opening themselves. Exhale, round. 1, 2, shoulders back. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Lift the chest, open the shoulders back. 1, and this is Baddha Konasana C, chest up, chin down. Open the toes. 2, only the toes can do that themselves. 3, press the bases of the little toes into each other. Heels press into each other. 4, and 5. Good. Release. We've been there for a long time, so you could hold underneath your knees and bring it up. Good. And the feet like to come in. Give them a little movement. Make sure there's no pain in the outer bands of the knees. Make sure there's no pain in, as we do in all yoga poses, at no point throughout the body, and especially at the joints, should there be any pain. If there's a stretchy sensation in something else, we want to embrace stretchy sensations, which might feel like burning in the muscles sometimes. Okay, let's cross the feet, and we're going to lie on the stomach, and you can get there in whatever relaxed, friendly way you'd like. Cobra pose for 5 breaths, just as a counter stretch. 1, really try to bring your feet together for this one. 2, lift the kneecaps. 3, 4, can wiggle the hips a little just to get them to release. 5, good job. Relax. Bend the knees underneath you. Cross your feet and come on down to seated. Good. And this was our journey into Baddha Konasana today. So I want you to close your eyes from a comfortable seated position. Then I want you to reflect on your sadhana. If you're someone that doesn't really connect so often with the softer practice, ask yourself if this more quiet, meditative space can also be your sadhana. Notice how your body feels. Notice how your mind feels. Notice the quality of your natural breath. And see if you can invite a little bit of happiness into the heart and into the body, embracing that softer side of sadhana. And then another long, deep breath in. And as you exhale, open the eyes and start to come back. Good. So this is Baddha Konasana. The journey of Baddha Konasana can take a whole lifetime. So if the knees are very elevated and you feel better using one of the more relaxing versions of the asana, please continue to do that. In the flow of the practice, feel welcome to elevate the hips and use the blocks to support the knees. But never push. If you feel any pain around the attachments of any of the muscles or the joints, then we want to really back off. The lesson of relaxing and opening the hips is very much a lesson of surrendering and letting go. And this surrender and letting go space brings a kind of openness and a sense of expansion that I encourage you to find more and more in your yoga practice and maybe also in your life. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. I hope you carry a little bit of that peaceful flow with you into your life today and keep yourself inspired to come back, get on the mat, and continue our daily practice of Ashtanga yoga so that this becomes a true spiritual path, a true experience of sadhana. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.